Hi. Hello, everybody. My name is Ariana Gonzalez. I am an artist manager. I'm a junior talent agent. I work with Who the Future in the music department doing educational and development work for independent artists. And today I am bringing you guys episode 21 of Run It Back, which is my music industry news podcast. I'm not going to miss my words. I'm just going to get straight into it today. As per usual, we're going to start out with some new music submitted by some independent artists. And I'm really excited to get into everything. So, the first song that was submitted to me is called Even the Villainous from an artist called Hillbilly Headspace. As per usual, once all of this stuff is done, you will be able to find them linked in the comments or the description on my Instagram. If you want to listen to the music directly, you can go into the description on my YouTube and you'll be able to find links to all the news stories and the music for today. But yeah, so this song, Even the Villainous, is an instrumental track. It is pretty much just a hip hop lo-fi instrumental track. It's very engaging. I could really hear this with like an emo artist. It gave me a lot of like Lil Peep vibes, that era of emo hip hop. So yeah, that is a recommendation that I would push for you in terms of people to collaborate with. And it reminds me, I don't know if you guys know about the show Skins. That was like my shit in middle school and high school. For some reason, it really reminded me of that. So in terms of like opportunities for sync and things like that, that kind of direction, I could definitely hear this song with, especially with instrumental tracks. They are great when it comes to producing for sync and things like that. Because they're looking for composers and there's not words that need to be moved around in terms of where it's going to be placed for that sync opportunity. So the next song that we're going to be talking about is called WYD, or What Are You Doing, from Z That Guy. This has a very Afrobeat influence sound to it. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a producer, but from listening to it, I would personally make the levels on your vocals a little bit higher. We're fighting a little bit to hear your vocals in this song. The production is a little bit stagnant, so there's not a lot of movement and variety within it, and that's one of the things that I would personally change. And please link your socials. Once again, if I see it, I'm going to say it. It happens every time. But on your DSPs, on your YouTube channel, things like that, please have links to either your website, your link tree, or whatever social media that you're the most active on, or else we cannot find you and we cannot support you more than just being a listener. All right. And yeah, so with this song specifically, I chose this from an album that you submitted to me. I have made the executive decision that I'm no longer going to be reviewing full albums because of how many submissions that I get. I'm up to 14 this week. And if I review your whole album, it's going to take me much more time to get through everyone. And I don't have the time to do that. So if you send me an album, I'm going to pick one song. It may be the worst song. It may be the best song, but that's what we're going to go for. So please just submit me a single, or if you have a 2 or 3 song EP, I'm cool with that. But please do not submit a project that has upwards of 10, 15 songs on it. But yeah, overall, WYD was a good song. There's just a couple things on the technical side that I would tweak for it. The next one that we have is called I Mommy by Joel Rivera. This is like a very soft indie song, which is interesting because of the title. It's very contrasting. Like, it's not what you would necessarily expect when you look at the title. But it kind of reminds me of what Joji has been putting out recently. It's a little bit static. This could be like a stylistic choice. And when I say that, I mean there is like literal static in the recording itself. So this could be a stylistic choice. I remember back in high school when I was recording my music, I wanted that raw feeling. So if that's what you're going for, definitely do that. But if it's not, I would take heed to that. Just a matter of quality and stylistic choices, truthfully. Is very trance-like, and some of that has to do with it being a bit repetitive, which isn't necessarily an issue. I like the atmosphere that it created for this song, and like I said, it's just it contrasts with the title so much. Like, it's not what you would think. So I know Joel, so I'm able to tag him, but please, please, please link your social media to your Spotify account, to any of your DSP stuff, because I know you. I can link you down below, but people who are just coming across your music are not going to be able to. The next song that we have is called Waste My Time by Red Spade. This is a very short and sweet song. It's a catchy hook. My only thing is that you are a bit monotone throughout it, which, in my opinion, it just leaves things a little... it could be better because of that. It would be more engaging if you didn't have such a monotone feel throughout it. But once again, that could be a stylistic choice. That's up for you to decide. This is just my opinion and what I take from things. Now, I love this next song. It's called Butterflies by United Nations. Now, this is a group of rappers who is giving me very 3 6 Mafia, but like fusion of all of 90s, 2000s, and a little bit of the 80s rap. Like, I love this generally. So definitely make sure that you guys take a listen to this. It's definitely going to be added to the playlist that I just posted about a little while ago, or I think literally yesterday. I like the sample on this, but it's a little bit repetitive. But the thing with this is that because there are so many different people on this song who bring different energy and different flows, it's not too big of an issue because you're creating that engagement and that variety through the vocals. I can definitely see people dancing to this. Please link your socials because I like your name. I like the group name being United Nations, but you are not Googleable. You are not findable on Instagram unless you have a direct link because your name is United Nations, and we all know what the reality of that is. So please make it easy for people to find you because I want to find you. I want to support you guys. But anytime that anyone is going to Google United Nations, the actual United Nations is going to pop up. So just make sure that you are taking heed of that and doing things to mitigate that fact so that when people are looking for you, they're actually finding you. The next song we're going to talk about is Pax by Lucky Cat. This is an electronic bass song. You did a really good job of like the use of buildup, which is pretty common within this genre. I really like the lightness that you put into it around like the 1 minute mark. It was very light and airy and it contrasted the rest of the song, which is more of like an eerie vibe. Anything that is electronic bass, EDM generally, I'm always going to say make sure that you're pitching for video games and things like that because that's going to be a great sync opportunity for you. The next song we have is Too High by Sick Owl. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is another one where please link your socials. On SoundCloud, I see that like you have your @name in the name of your artist name, which is a good start. But on your DSPs and even on SoundCloud, you can directly link them, which makes it a lot easier for the person who is trying to find you. So like if you're coming across someone like me, I'm going to do the work to like try to find who you are. But there's plenty of people who are going to favor convenience over actually trying to find you. So linking these things and making it easy for people to just click on it and go straight to you instead of having to go into a search bar anywhere and type in certain things, it's just going to streamline it. And you're going to have a lot more retention opposed to having people just try to actually find you. This song specifically is very reminiscent of Solange, but it's I like it because it doesn't sound like Solange. I can just feel that she's one of your influences, which is something that I really appreciate because I do not like, not that I don't want to say like that, but I don't necessarily like to see like carbon copies of people where it's so reminiscent that I don't see anything different. So I really appreciate that there's that influence of sound, but you still have your own thing going on. There's great songwriting in this. I personally think this would be good for like background music. And I've said this before, but when I say that, I mean music to listen to the car in, listen to while you're cleaning your house or doing homework. Things that honestly is music that you can put on repeat over and over because it's simple, it's engaging enough to the point where like you're still enjoying it, but you can focus on other things while you're listening to it. And I feel like it's great for that is my personal opinion. I think you need some more engaging aspects throughout it. It does become a little bit repetitive, but otherwise I love the chorus and it's short and sweet, which is great for the climate of music that we're in. Keeping your music under 3 minutes is definitely a stylistic choice, but it also helps keep retention. And yeah, so the next song that we have is called Act Out by Big Meezy. As soon as I heard this, like I knew that this was a song that my boyfriend would love. So take that what you may think. I think this is a great song, like a great song for guys who are into like Lil Durk, maybe Trapland Pat. I could feel Moneybagg Yo, that esque of performers. I think that is like your direct target audience. I would definitely exploit that. I could hear this on the top 40. Definitely up the quality of your music video. So this is someone who sent in a music video. I give you props for having one and putting it out there. But the song is great, so we want to see the visuals match that caliber, right? And yeah, this is another song that was short and sweet. It was engaging all the way throughout, one that you would put on repeat because of that. Then we have a song called Cakewalk by Bad Bridges. This is a house track that's very engaging. I actually really, really like this song, but I would put the levels on your vocals a little bit higher because we're struggling to hear you. The production of it is great, and this is another thing. It may be a stylistic choice to have you be more coming in and out and to make the instrumental the forefront of this. But if that's not necessarily what you're trying to do, I would recommend that. And even to experiment and just see the difference of what it may sound like, I would recommend that. Please use new photos for your cover art. You have used like the same photo on like 10 singles, and this may be because you're trying to like put together an album with this string of singles. But I just would like to see some more effort into it, because that's what it's giving. It's giving like, here's this random picture of me that I'm just going to use for all my cover art and allow for my music to do the talking. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I want to see this full brand of a person because the music is there. The music is there. There's definitely a market for it. And then once again, please link your socials. Please, please, please. The next person is someone who's actually submitted before. Her name is Sophia Giuliani with a song called Flames. This girl, I have a little obsession with her. I love her voice. I love her music. She is an artist. And if you go ahead and look at her music video, you'll really be able to see that. Even her prior stuff, she just puts a lot of effort into it. The quality is not top notch, but because of how you can just tell how much effort and how much time she puts into the concepts of it. Like, it does not matter because that shit is dope. The link on your YouTube does not work. So in case you don't know that, I would update the links that you have. Good for you on having them there. But if they don't work, then they're not useful. Yeah, this is a very more like dark pop kind of song, which I really enjoyed. Once again, like I said, I love your voice. I love the effort that you put into your music videos. This has great melodies and just great songwriting all around. I really, I'm like a fan of this chick. Definitely go check her out. Next up, we have Pyre by Muleki and Bronson Scott. You both have very distinct voices, which is great. There's a great placements in the feature. So like the feature of what is your name? Bronson Scott, like, was placed very well to continue making it engaging and bringing us back to just being in the song rather than allowing it to kind of float away from us. I love the harmonies that you placed in here. I would, on your end, change up the flow a little bit to make it more engaging. And once again, please link your socials. I was able to find you. When you put a link in like the bio of your DSPs, someone has to type that in order to get there, opposed to be able to going to the YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter parts and just click on it. Most people are not going to take the time to type everything out. So try to make things easier for the people that you want to come find you, opposed to giving any kind of barrier towards them finding you, okay? So the next song that we have is called Fall Into You by Chrissy Gammon. This is like a soft folk kind of like country-esque song. You're doing really well on streaming, but you have a private Instagram. And this is something that kind of bothers me because I know that if you were more engaged on social media and you opened it up for everyone, you would probably have 100,000 streams right now. You're definitely on your way to that, but just open up your brand more. Allow people to see you, and don't put everything on social media. If you want to have a private life, have your private accounts, but you need to make some accounts for your music specifically, because clearly you're having great retention from your audience, great engagement from them. Allow them to interact with you on more than just your music, okay? I could definitely hear this on a coming of age or action or even a rom-com project in terms of sync stuff. Overall, great stuff. please just unprivate your stuff and start talking about your music online, please. The next song that we have is called New Tide by Girly. I can hear this in a commercial for sure, and I can also hear this in like some new age rom-com type projects for sync. This is also a great song for dancers. I used to be a dancer, so sometimes I just hear something like, oh, this could definitely be like in a dance video. This could definitely work for someone who's training. And it has that bounce to it. And it has certain elements that can just work really, really well for someone who's just trying to go and flow to some music. This has really engaging productions. Overall, I really enjoyed this song. And the final song that we're going to talk about today is called Take It Back by Giovanni and Impact. I've heard this song live a couple of times. These are some folks who reside in the Orlando area. Two amazing young kids, Full Sail students, I still believe. So shout out to Full Sail alumni, the whole network over there. But getting into it, this song has great levels. None of the elements are fighting with each other. They're mixed very well. The production is a little bit simple, but because you guys are great at what you do, right? You have enough variety in your melodies. You're switching it up in terms of passing things back and forth enough that it works. Because honestly, in my opinion, if there was like more intensity in the production, it might be a little too much. I feel like you guys have a really good balance of what you guys have going on here. I definitely want to see a music video to this song. I'm seeing visuals as I'm listening to it, so that definitely is like a go make something to it. I would love to see what you guys come up with that. Something else that I love about this song is that it feels short, but it's not. And that is a great indicator that you have something engaging and that you have a song that people are going to put on repeat because they want to keep listening to it. This song is something like 3 minutes and however many seconds. It felt like 1 minute and 30 seconds. And you have done something great by creating time travel, essentially, which I think is dope. This is definitely feel-good car music. And like I said, I really want to see a visual to this. Overall, you guys did a great job. And thank you for submitting this week. So with that being said, I am going to be updating that like Run It Back Faves playlist on Spotify after every single episode. So make sure you guys check that out. Listen to some of the amazing artists who have submitted. I'm only like updating it with the music that I'm like, this is hot. This is shit I would listen to all the time. And that is no hate to anybody who submits. I have my own things that I like and my own what my cup of tea is, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely go check that out and listen to everybody's music. Like I said, everyone is going to be linked in the caption on Instagram. The links to all the music are going to be in the news link document, which is linked both in my bio as well as the description on YouTube. So go show these people some love. And yeah, that is that section of the podcast. Next, we're going to move into the My Like section. This is stuff that doesn't fit into the already pre-described categories that I have for today. So first, historically, Australian session musicians have had no economic claim to their recorded performances beyond a basic session fee, an unregulated fee that in real terms has been going backwards for decades. So I think this is an interesting conversation just about the way that session musicians are paid. It's one of those things where it's a good gig up front, like they're saying, where the majority of your income is going to come through those actual sessions, whatever your fee may be. But if you are a studio musician, definitely make sure that split sheets and at least conversations about how royalties are getting split up is within the conversation. You could end up getting paid like $500 for a session for a song that grosses $100,000. Now, if that's the agreement that you came to and you're comfortable with that, that's fine. But if not, you want to make sure that you're creating an atmosphere where you are compensated the way that you feel you should be. Sorry, I'm just reading some comments. Cool stuff. All right. The next story that we have is it is exceptionally easy to make the bear case. And when we talk about the bear case, we're talking about either bearish or bullish in the economy, in the market. But it is exceptionally easy to make the bear case for Spotify stock. Even with the shares of 54% year to date and 65% from their 2021 high, Spotify still has a market capitalization just shy of $20 billion. That is dramatically a high valuation for a company that is essentially making $0 profit. Operating income over the past 4 quarters is 70 million euros, approximately $78 million. And while Spotify is growing revenue at a rapid clip, the nature of the business suggests that the revenue isn't necessarily going to drive significant expansion in profit margins. Indeed, that's been precisely Spotify's history to this point. So yeah, if you don't know, Spotify actually, for the most part, operates on a deficit, which is really interesting because they're taking in a lot of money, but they're also expensing a lot of money. Spotify is a very large company that has a lot of positions open, a lot of people that make it run. And then you also have to think about they're paying out hundreds of thousands, actually millions of artists who utilize their platform to distribute music. So finding a way to profit is interesting. And just for like shits and giggles, I actually did a project on this at my time at Full Sail, trying to figure out a way to make Spotify profitable. And in my honest opinion, I think that it is making Spotify more of a marketplace, similar to Bandcamp, and also adding in certain elements of Web3. I'm not going to go super into that. If you want to learn more, I will give you my presentation on it. I don't want people to steal my ideas, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, yeah, I think it's an interesting thing to talk about. And I think it's also something that not a lot of people know. But yeah, the next story that we're going to talk about is Southern Oregon University having a long taught musicians how to play in a band. Now they're going to teach them how to be the ones that make it all happen behind the scenes. So they're going to be offering a Bachelor of Arts and Science degree in the music industry and production studies. The degree is designed to be as diverse as possible to prepare our students for how wide and rich the music industry is. By this, we're not looking to make rock stars out of our students. I think this is super interesting. I'm always going to love education within the fields of what we do. It's really important. And yeah, so if that's something that you're interested, if you want to go to Southern Oregon University for music business, definitely check out what they have going on. And yeah, I also want to touch on the point of them talking about we're not trying to make rock stars out of our students. Everyone wants to be a rock star, but there's so many people behind the scenes of the rock stars that make it happen. There's a lot of money to be made. There's widespread careers to be had. And I always want to be an advocate for the fact that you can work in music and do what you love without struggling to be an artist. By all means, if that's what you want to do, go towards your dreams, put the work in. But I do want people to be realistic about the other things that you can do within the music industry. Now, the last story within the My Like section is probably my favorite story of the entire week. And it's called Why You Are Not Getting Paid for Streams. All right. So this is funny. I actually had a conversation via Discord with this girl who came to me and she was like, why is DistroKid not paying me my streams? My analytics are not matching up to my payouts that I'm getting. What is going on? So we had a brief conversation about the different royalties to collect. But something that's important that most people don't know is that streaming sites or DSPs are reporting to your aggregators, which is your DistroKid, your CD Baby, blah, 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 once a quarter. So if I get 10,000 streams today, I will not see the money from that until 3 months later. So this is not something that I feel like is very common knowledge if you don't understand these things. But it's important to know because you may, blow up at one point and be like, where's my money? What is going on? It's going to come to you. You have to think of the time that it takes to report as well as to divvy out these funds. And also just be wary of that because, clearly we have rent to pay every month, not every 3 months. So streaming cannot be the only thing that you're relying on in terms of income for your artistry if you want to make this your career. Some other things that are talked about within this article is that you're not making money because you don't have any demand. If you are someone who is just releasing music on a whim, you don't put any marketing in, and you don't have an audience, it's going to be hard to generate income because you're not really generating streams to actually do that. The pay rate for streams is extremely low, as we know. So if you don't have a certain level of demand, you're not going to be seeing really tangible monies for a while until you really start that marketing, until you really start getting out there and creating a demand, not only within your audience, but across the audiences that would be interested in what you do. Another thing, there's this idea that like people are stealing your music via YouTube and things like that, and that may be true. But if they're not monetized, they're not making money off of it, and that's not necessarily a copyright violation, which is why if someone is monetized and is making money off of it, you should be registering your music with YouTube's content ID system. So what this does is pay you out your royalties that you are deserved from whatever revenue that person makes from the content that they have using your music. So what this means is that you want people who have monetized content to use your music. This is gonna it's similar to like sync. That's the best way to compare it. You're opening up your music to a different audience of people who may not have heard you if it wasn't on this creator's or whoever's video, but you're also getting residual income from it because they are, and you are directly connected to that because of this content ID system. Now, something else that is mentioned in here is the subtitle of it was "They're doing it right in your face," and this is more a conversation about deals and record labels. So most of the time, if not all of the time, labels and contracts are literally going to spell out how they're going to fuck you over. You have to have a lawyer by your side, or you have to have the diligence to actually read these things so that you don't get fucked over. Most people get really excited when they have a deal in front of them and they sign it, and then they sign away their rights, when if they would have just looked through the contract or had someone look it over for them, they could have avoided that. So lack of awareness is the best way to put it. If you're in a situation like that, you have put yourself there through a lack of awareness and a lack of responsibility. Now, I understand why these things happen and where it comes from, and I'm not saying that it's your fault. Of course, the deals or the record labels should have better practices, but they don't. So we have to be on edge more about these things so that we can protect ourselves, right? So the next section that we're getting into, usually the largest section, is called industry updates. So let's get straight into it. Universal Music Group for Brands, or UMGB, the Global Partnerships Division of Universal Music Group, has unveiled its UMusic Media Network, a media and data platform designed to connect brands and partners with exclusive media from UMG. They say that UMusic Media Network offers brands access to its inventory of music, video content, and spans its social media platforms. The platform will allow brand partners to exclusively access premium content, as well as UMG's data and insights. The network also offers users the opportunity to hyper-target audiences at scale through the most exciting music videos and artist-driven content. I think this is really interesting. The fact that they are allowing them to see their insights and their analytics is very, very interesting to me. And I think that any person or any partner or any brand who is going to be a part of that needs to heavily exploit that, because there is so much information that is intaken from these labels that is so useful. And then also being able to utilize all this content at either a discounted rate or just being able to go through those licenses much easier is going to be a huge asset to anyone who's involved with this. So I think that this is going to do really well for both sides. And yeah, the next story that we want to talk about, US-based physical goods distributor and wholesaler Alliance Entertainment is going to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange via a merger with SPAC, which is Special Purpose Acquisition Company. Next up, we have over 5 million people tuned into the Triller app, or VersusTV.com, Fight TV, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, Google's YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch to witness R&B legends Omarion and Mario in an action-packed bonus matchup, creating another history-making versus. The social conversation alone was worthy of notes. Over 6,900,000 comments were made through the first 4.5 hours, including by hip-hop legend Snoop Dogg and global brands like Cheesecake Factory, Wendy's, joining the online chat. I think this is an interesting conversation. We all, or most of us, know what happened during this versus. It was a viral moment. La da 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 da. There was embarrassment across the board, things to be said, la da da da. But what I want to talk about is how situations like this are always going to be good for the production aspect, right? The people who put this on, now Omarion is going through something right now. He's getting a lot of backlash or just rude, negative things. His ego is probably a little hurt, but there's so much traffic going to his page that was not there before. His name is now in the news. He is now back into the forefront of the general public's mind. And for Versus and Triller, this is great because they're having engagement skyrocket. So what I want to hone in on with this is that entertainment does not always need to be good to do its job, right? Now, if Omarion would have blew it out of the water, I'm sure it still would have been engaging and it still would have gotten some press and things like that because of the fact it's Triller, it's the Versus brand. But what happened that night is the reason why there is so much engagement around it, which no matter which way you cut it is great for everyone who was involved. That viewership is bringing in more money, the comments is bringing in more money, the engagement, and it's also boosting the social meter or their social scale, which is in turn always going to help whoever is involved. So I just want to reiterate, it does not have to be good, top caliber to do its job, right? All right, next thing is the US-based DIY distribution platform DistroKid has officially launched its new DistroVid services that lets artists upload music videos to digital service providers. The rollout follows a beta launch in May. DistroVid lets artists upload a limited number of music videos for a fixed fee, and artists keep 100% of their earnings from the videos that they upload through the service. This is going to partner with Apple Music, Amazon Music, Tidal, and Vivo. DistroKid says that more digital service providers are expected to come online in the coming months. So this is great. People have already been doing this who are more on the major side of things, being able to release music videos and things like that through different DSPs, and now you have the opportunity to as well. I think this is a great thing that you can do just to add another outlet of where you're putting your music videos. For the most part, you're going to be putting them on YouTube, but having another place where people can find them, either whether it's on the whim or they're searching it up, that's always going to be a good thing in my eyes. The next thing we're talking about is emerging Bristol via South London artist Ems will be headlining Amplify's very first proof of concept showcase in July 5th. At Lost Horizons Club in Bristol. The showcase will demonstrate new proprietary technology used in Amplify Live by using DeFi Web3 technology. Ems will be able to earn additional recurring income from this performance months after the gig has finished. This event is free of charge with invitation-only tickets in the form of NFTs. So this story at its basis is about Web3 and the live sector of music and how this can be beneficial for artists. Something that I really wanted to, one of the reasons I wanted to put this in there is because of this line. Ems will be able to earn additional recurring income from this performance months after the gig is finished. For the most part in touring, the night is the night. You put up all the money for it, and then when you come back, you get that P&L statement up, and you see what your profit is compared to your gross, get your net, and what you've made is what you made. So having the ability to make residual income off of something that is a free event, but not really free because you got to buy an NFT to get it, is really interesting. I think that is something that we should definitely focus on and pay attention to. Now, I believe, and I could be wrong, the way that this residual income is happening is because of those NFTs. As they switch hands, that money eventually will trickle back to Ems. But there's definitely plenty of ways that this residual income could be coming about. Like I said, I think this is interesting, something we should keep our eye on because passive income is always something that you want to stay on top of, regardless of the industry that you're in, right? The next story is Alicia Outridge has been named the first chief of technology and product at the Believe-owned TuneCore company. And then finally within this section, today, Congresswoman Alma Adams and Congressman French Hill announced 3 companies and organizations joining the HBCU Partnership Challenge. This is Cisco, Universal Music, and the American Chemistry Council. So the HBCU Caucus Partnership Challenge is an effort to promote greater engagement and support between the private companies and HBCUs. Already over 90 companies have taken the challenge. I think this is great because these companies, specifically UMG, are going to be having a presence specifically in HBCUs and being able to recruit these students directly into internships or entry-level positions, or if they have the capability to larger positions where they're able to make money right off the bat. I think this is great. It's a great resource, and I'm happy to see engagements and things like this happening for young professionals. And yeah, I think it's awesome. Next, we're talking artist accomplishments. There was some award shows, so all we're doing is talking about the Jesus Christ, BET Awards within this section. I'm going to go down through it real quick because we have a pretty hefty lineup here. The best female R&B and pop artist was given to Jasmine Sullivan. The best male R&B and pop artist was given to The Weeknd. The best group is Silk Sonic. The best collaboration is the song Essence by Wizkid featuring Justin Bieber and Tems. We have best female hip hop artist being Megan Thee Stallion. Best male hip hop artist Kendrick Lamar. Video of the year, Smoking Out the Window from Silk Sonic. Video director of the year, Anderson .Paak, who directed the video of the year. Best new artist is Lotto. Album of the year is An Evening with Silk Sonic. Then we have Dr. Bobby Jones' Best Gospel / Inspirational Award, We Win, which is Lil Baby and Kirk Franklin. BET Her Award was given to Mary J. Blige for her song Good Morning Gorgeous. Best International Act was given to Tems. Best Movie, King Richard. Best Actor, Will Smith. Best Actress, Zendaya, with Euphoria and Spider-Man as the things that she was given it for. The Young Stars was given to Marsai Martin. We have Sportswoman of the Year for Naomi Osaka and Sportsman of the Year, Stephen Curry. We got through that pretty quick, which I'm glad about. Congrats to all these people. I believe that everyone is very deserving of the categories that they won. It was a great night for Silk Sonic, being Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. I think that was pretty deserved as well. And yeah, overall, I've seen some clips. I've seen some videos. I think it was a great award show in total. And yeah, once again, just congratulations to everyone who's recognized. Next section that we're getting into is deals, partnerships, and acquisitions. This is actually the longest section of the podcast today, which is interesting because it's usually long, but it's usually not longer than the industry update section. So let's get straight into it. Universal Music Group announced today that the terms of the previously disclosed Greater China Option Agreement entered between UMG subsidiary Universal International Music and Tencent have been amended. The original agreement granted TME an option to acquire up to 25%, but no less than 20% of the shared capital of the holding company, which controls UIM, Greater China Operations. Under the amended agreement, this is going down to 12.5%, but no less than 10% of that shared capital. And they have 24 months to the date to kind of make a decision on this. Now, whatever way you want to cut this, it's a good partnership. Tencent is the fastest growing, or I should say, the biggest company in one of the fastest growing markets globally. And UMG is UMG. It's the biggest, it's the baddest, it's the grisliest. So this partnership, no matter where you want to cut it, is going to be good for both sides. Now, that jump from 25 to 12.5 is interesting, and I'm interested into seeing why that was done. But at the end of the day, I don't know how negotiations would go for Tencent, but I personally think they should take it. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of money made. A small percentage of a large number is still a lot of money. So I'm just interested to see how this goes. And also, I really want to see the unfolding of why these decisions were made to go down on that percentage. Next up, 12-time Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, and producer Kenny Babyface Edmonds has signed to Capitol Records. Murder Inc.'s heyday may be in the rearview mirror, but Irv Gotti continues to find new ways to stay successful. On Tuesday, which was June 28th, the veteran hip-hop executive announced a $3 million deal that sees himself 50% ownership stake of his masters to Icon Classed while receiving funding for various film and television projects. That $300 million is a lot of money. If he wanted to, he could retire. But I think this is super cool that he is not giving up full ownership of his entire catalog, and he's still able to get funding for some newer avenues that he's looking to branch into in terms of the creative and entertainment world. Definitely stay tuned and up to date on what comes out of those various TV and television or film and television projects. And overall, I personally think that this looks like a pretty good deal to me. $300 million for half of my catalog. No other words. All right. Universal Music Group has announced an agreement with Frank Zappa's family to acquire the legendary musician's recordings, publishing catalog, film archive, name and likeness, and the contents of The Vault, the storage facility that houses his complete archives. This agreement is between UMG and the Zappa Trust, comprising the musician's children, Moon, Dweezil, Ahmet, and Diva Zappa. This spans his 4-decade career. The deal terms, which were not disclosed, expands on previous partnerships, and the assets will continue to be managed by the company's recorded music catalog division, which is Universal Music Enterprises, as well as the Universal Music Publishing Group. Cool stuff. Lots of money. And I think, there's a lot of opportunity because of how much they were able to get, especially getting those archives, the film and TV, name and likeness. You're going to see you're definitely going to see some Frank Zappa stuff coming out, whether that be different promotional products, merchandising, movies, things like that. Next up, music mogul and global entrepreneur Dre London has unveiled his latest business endeavor, Skirt, a new era of hard seltzers hitting the market today, which I believe was either Thursday or Friday, the last Thursday or Friday. The line of hard seltzer was inspired by today's culture-defining artists, creators, and influencers, delivering what's next in the scene while bridging the gap between the music industry and consumers. Skirt elevates its status with a musical icon, next-generation entrepreneur, and co-partner Post Malone, who sits at the forefront of the brand, lending his creative integrity behind every sip. More owners from the music, art, and entertainment space to be announced at a later date. I think it's also always fun when we see musicians or people in the music industry branching out into the larger world of consumerism when it comes to different products, but especially when it comes to things like alcohol and food. There's a long history of especially rappers and other musicians doing partnerships and having their own brands of alcohol. And really, when it comes to any brand of anything where you can make money off of, I think it's always a good decision. You just have to go about it the right way. And I think this is going to do really well. I think a lot of people who listen to Post Malone drink hard seltzers. And I think that it's going to be, do really well, especially depending on the placements that they get in stores. If they get this in 7-Eleven, if they get this in Walmart, Publix is going to do well regardless, because that's kind of how it works. But having Post Malone behind it and having that, what it is kind of reminding me of, which we actually have a story about it, is Rap Snacks. This brand behind it that means more than just what the actual product is, right? Moving on, AWOL, which is a subsidiary of Sony Music, has announced that they have signed a $1 million record deal with Philadelphia hip-hop artist, actor, and creator DeForest Sloan. The 21-year-old artist is the first Philadelphia native to be signed to the label since his expansion into the hip-hop realm. The signing of DeForest Sloan coincides with the release of his latest single, Vogue Love, available for streaming on all digital platforms. Next, we have Ciara being signed to Republic Records as well as Uptown through her own record label, Imprint Beauty Marks Entertainment. Under the partnership, Ciara will be releasing Jump, her first single since 2020, slated for release during or later this summer. I always love to see actual partnerships opposed to really any other kind of record deal. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And I will not be surprised if this is going to be the kind of mark of Ciara's revamping. This was the story I was talking about with Rap Snacks. Nicki Minaj is the latest hitmaker to join the family. People dropped an exclusive announcement highlighting the Barbie Tings rapper new flavor, which is going to be called Barbecue Honey Truffle Potato Chips. I think this is going to do really well. You know, the Barbs are going to literally eat it up. And yeah, I think overall, Rap Snacks has done a really good job of making a brand for themselves and, you know, being able to hand out money to everybody, right? So overall, I'm excited. I'm excited to try these. Maybe I'll do, you know what? I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to make a video of just me and my friends eating Rap Snacks of our favorite musicians. Moving on, we have the final story within this section, and we're actually closing out. We have one more story out after this, so thank you guys for, you know, sticking with me. It is hopefully widely known that the user-generated content licenses assigned between social platforms and music rights holders cover users as opposed to brands. The goal here from the music industry side is not to cannibalize music usages that would traditionally be a sync license. TikTok, meanwhile, is keen on helping those brands out by building a library of music that is cleared for branded content. Here are some of the things I want to talk about with this. There's more to that excerpt. But to break it down, the reason that you can go on TikTok if you don't have a business account and utilize copyrighted music freely, make whatever music that you want, is because you are not making money off of it. You may be building your social capital off of it. Maybe you go viral. Maybe you build a whole bunch of fans. But if you do not have a business account or you're not in the creator fund, you are not making music off of it, which is why it's okay for you to utilize these things. Now, if someone is, you know, has a business account or is a brand generally who is using music for commercials and to boost themselves, and especially on content that they're making money from, it is going against what copyright is. So what they're talking about here is that the music industry has been trying to avoid licensing music to these companies to make it okay for brands to do. They've already licensed for users to do, but they're trying to avoid that because traditionally when you do, when a brand or a company wants to utilize music, they have to pay the copyright holder for a sync license. There's a lot of money in that, and they want to keep it that way. That's why music libraries are a great thing, which I'll touch on a little bit. A music library is essentially a company or an organization that has a whole bunch of music that is kind of predetermined that can be synced. They have networks of artists and a catalog of music that brands can pull from in order to facilitate sync licensing that isn't from, sometimes it could be from majors, but for the most part, it isn't from majors. It's a little bit more low cost and pretty efficient, right? But overall, the ending of this excerpt, TikTok, or am I correct? Yeah, TikTok is launching its Sound Partners program in October of 2021. Jesus, it's 2022 now. When did this come out? With a group of production music libraries and distributed United Masters, it has now expanded its catalog with a new partner. Track Club is the subscription-based production music service launched by the licensing firm Marmoset and will now be a part of TikTok's Sound Partners too. The company is also making its pitch to brands by stressing its social credentials. It is a certified B Corp that invents 10% of its post-royalty payouts to community organizations. So finding ways to make it easier for brands and accounts on TikTok and other social media, because this is, you know, it's just the beginning. It will spread out as it goes, to utilize music that they want to without going through a lengthy sync process for a 10-second video. With that, we have our final story, which is a legal story. And then we're going to close it out. Rapper, producer, and entrepreneur Kanye West, who legally changed his name to Ye last year, was sued on Wednesday, the past Wednesday, for allegedly sampling a song by musician Marshall Jefferson without his permission. Ultra International Music Publishing LLC said Flowers from West's album Donda 2 includes a sample from Jefferson's 1986 dance song Move Your Body. And it is repeated at least 22 times in the song. They would like some compensation for that. And I don't know, they'll probably get it. It'll depend on what happens within that court case and who has the leverage within the situation. But to me, it sounds pretty cut and dry, and I do think that they'll be compensated for it. On that note, you guys, thank you so much for taking a listen to me on this beautiful Sunday. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. But other than that, if you would like to have your music reviewed next Sunday, definitely go ahead and either email me, shoot me a DM with a link, and I'll put you on the roster for next week. Tune in to my TikTok if you want some more educational content. My YouTube, everything will be there. If you want the links to all these stories, go ahead and find the link in my bio. It'll say episode 21 news link, so you can find everything over there. If you're on YouTube, you can find that straight in the description. And definitely go check out all of the musicians who are featured this week. And on that note, you guys, stay safe. Once again, thank you all for watching, and hopefully I will see you next week. I'm going to close out the YouTube first. Adios. And now, bye guys.